Hey, hey, sup, pups? What is going on? Welcome to the Power Up Podcast. And looks like we've got a sexy stud in the background. Throw him on in here. There he is.
What's up, brother?
What up, man? What's going on?
We're just getting smacked with some storms, so I finally got the signal to connect. Like I went through like 3 rounds of just watching the thing spin on the screen and like tweaking with
Gosh.
the internet and shit, trying to get things to work right. But I think it's calming down now. Like it was sounding wild for like 10 minutes, and now I'm just getting settled. So I'm like, I think we're past the worst of it now.
I hear ya.
How
Well,
you doing?
oh man. Many ups, many downs, Life just being life and gay.
Well, you know what they say. Life's a bitch and then you die. That's why we get high. That's why we get high. To quote Nate Dogg.
There you
Quote
go.
Almighty Nate Dogg.
Yes, yes. But welcome everyone to the Power Up podcast. I did try to start go through and number them, and I'm not exactly up to date on everything, but we'll just say this is episode 24. Good enough for me.
Big 2-4. I like it. Nice even numbers, and they're all
Even
divisible
numbers.
by each other.
What
Yeah.
up, Edwin? Hail peeps in the chat. What is up? So lots of insanity happening. I did some snooping around in the old pop culture news and got some stuff we can chat about, comment on, see if it's funny, see if it's retarded, see where it
Probably a
goes.
mix of all that. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, if you have anything you want to talk about, Joe, just let me know.
We'll do, brother.
Yes, yes. But as you can tell in the title, I found some articles that the title alone intrigued me, and we'll see what the meat of the substance is. Hopefully, it's good. But that's the fun part. Just get the old reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got a bunch. Yeah, I found a bunch of stuff from video games to anime, Japanese anime. Uh, you know what? We'll
Hey,
we'll
Ed,
go ahead and
I,
start off with a good one, I guess. I guess we'll call it a good one. I don't know. Could not be. Could be something else.
Edwin,
And
I
that
think in the chat, dude. If you want the link, just let me know and I'll shoot it over to you.
Oh yeah, yeah. If people want to join, feel free to. I was tired, so I was really gay and was like 30 minutes in, it's like I still need to eat and stuff, set up everything, and slap that sucker in. But
YouTube work.
what's up?
I said YouTube is work.
It
So
is, it is. But this is something that caught my eye because I didn't even know it was happening. Is apparently there's an Miyazaki film coming out called How Do You Live? Did not hear about that until recently, as in
yeah.
today. So we'll pull that sucker up from good old niche gamer. Let me grab that son of a bitch. All right. I need to email. Well, I guess this is now Streamlabs. I need to contact Streamlabs and be like, dude, you got to set your default shit to not close up of people's faces because it looks awful. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Or the
All right.
classic silly face.
Yeah. Oh, or the pointing. Yeah, just pointing in the background. Yeah. Gosh.
I'm retarded.
Gosh. And people have to, and you have to make those faces when it comes to the YouTube thumbnails and stuff because YouTube actually looks at the thumbnail and with the advertising and
Eye catching thumbnails. Any way you got to, even if you got to make stupid faces.
I just use the same one and yeah, and kind of mix it up to where it's a different one, but if it's good enough, it's good enough. All right, but we have Hayao Miyazaki's How Do You Live? Question mark opens next week. No idea. July 7th, apparently. So, oh wow, this is a rather old one, but that's the first time I'm hearing it with all the SAG-AFTRA bullshit happening and stuff, which I just funny. That makes me laugh. But
Well, it is because they think their value is somewhere where it's not, and they're overvalued at this point. It's like you guys just don't get it. You don't hold enough value to have be demanding things. You have no
yeah.
level.
So that can definitely be a further discussing topic for sure.
Yeah,
But like the very first thing when I heard that SAG-AFTRA just joined in on the striking with the writers,
yeah,
all I could think about was what we talked about in past shows. And I think Eric might have actually been on with us, but I know for sure we talked about it, is when SAG-AFTRA members like came in the voiceover industry came into um down here in Texas, a right to work state, to like try to get them to negotiate being part of the union. And
ah,
I am just laughing now because what a good way to be in a right to work state where you can just give two middle fingers and go, you know what? Because I can go ahead and still audition. Of course, I've read other stuff where like if you guys want to support the strike, then right to work states shouldn't take stuff either. And it's like, fuck you. We got bills to pay, bitch. You know,
yeah, yeah,
that's the immediate thing that's like the first thing I thought of, because number one, I think it's the biggest load of shit. I looked up SAG-AFTRA like when they founded, like you had SAG and then you had AFTRA and they were separate stuff like way back in like the 50s, and then in 2011 I think is what I read is when they finally merged together. And all I'm thinking about is you guys formulated 2011 and you're still going on strike because you're still claiming you're you're claiming that the wages are still unfair. And I'm just like, what the hell have you guys been doing? If you're still saying that it's shit, you know? I
yeah.
Now granted, I'll be the first hypocrite, and for if someone came out and was like, "Hey, like here you go. You can be part of the union." Hell yeah, I'll snatch that up real quick. Sort of thing, because it's like, yeah, I want to get paid, like have some sort of coverage. But
Well, unions can benefit
mhm,
and have problems. It's like anything else in this world. Like you can paint anything as all bad or
mhm,
all good when really what it's about is how it's used. And in the world of unions, it can go both ways, or it can be like really extreme. And I think one of my buddies has worked for Kroger for years, and
mhm,
his union benefits are really good because of it, and he makes a really good wage for
mhm,
basically for being a loyal, which is fair for showing up to work and being loyal. Those two things, and
mhm.
not doing things that are fireable offenses. So I actually probably done a few, but he's a good boy overall. But
Whatever.
yeah, yeah, but it's hard work. It's all like heavy lifting. Like
Mhm,
it's all manual labor. So it's like, yeah, he deserves to make this crazy wage because
mhm.
he's literally like been crushing his body for years. And I don't know, he still goes to the gym, and I don't know how he does it after he does his work all night. It's
Well,
just so much.
you definitely hit the nose on the head, but I think with or the nail on the head, I guess. Also the nose if you're like punching it.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
but it's exactly what you said. It definitely has pros and cons, and I'm sure each union is different. But when it comes
Yeah.
to the SAG-AFTRA one, like there are the biggest piles of shit in there, and I'm more on the negative side of the fact of like if you honestly like the even inside of a union, like you're gonna have the high tier union members that are pretty
Yeah.
much running the show and stuff. You honestly
Yep.
think like I do not believe for a minute that you guys care about the low tier people. Sort of thing. It's like
Yeah.
you guys don't, and you're just trying to lure people into becoming part of the union. But then you have stuff like this to where it's like, well, you're part of the union, so we're striking. We better not see any of you guys take on work and do stuff, or else you'll get kicked out. And
Yeah.
then even worse, they're now trying to reach it to where, like, from what I saw, like even advertising certain stuff or being on social media could possibly be an offense. And that's
It
where
well,
my
with them,
that's
it's gross abuse of power. Like that's the difference of some unions. You
yeah.
get that it's like, well, the private company has basically said we're going to work with the union. It's not like anyone put a gun to their head and forced them to do it.
Mhm.
So, I get it, but with the Hollywood people, I've looked at what they already get if they're in like the Writers Guild or the
Mhm.
Actors Guild and things like that. And some of it's just wild to me. You might as well have been a politician that gets permanent, like, or like a teacher that gets tenure. Like some
Mhm.
of them get that level of crazy benefits. And I'm like, if you can get it, fine, but like, don't expect sympathy from normies when you don't get it, because
Yeah.
like you already get enough that it's really hard for us to give a shit when you're like, oh no, I can't afford my gold plated Ferrari this month. Oh, sorry guys, I don't give a shit. And if you're on a low level actor and you think you deserve what the top guys get, you're out of your fucking mind. There's a reason they're on top. So
Yeah. And like, cuz I look like even and I'm I'll admit that I'm rather ignorant of the whole SAG-AFTRA thing. I know people who looked into it and stuff like that, and I've gotten information from them and dabbled into it, but I never really sat down and actually see what it's up. But man, like, y- if but I can definitely see the power position of it's like, dude, if these higher ups are telling you like we care about you and stuff, but when stuff like this happens and they're telling you, yeah, you better be striking with us or else
or
sort of thing.
yeah,
That's the big thing. But like what you were saying earlier, to where it's like, yeah, if you do a good job and you do whatever it is, then yeah, you definitely deserve that money. But like, yeah, it's just crazy because the unions I've seen that I can remember kind of seeing back when I was in Illinois and stuff, um, when they're like building a Walmart or something, like back in my hometown, they were building a Walmart. I think it was the Walmart. Yeah, they were building the Walmart and there were union people protesting it because they went with contract people. And
yeah.
these union people would just sit there every day and just be the poster boys and stuff like that. And they're being paid to get protest and they're fat and like and you're just like, do you actually work? Sort of thing, sort of
They're
thing. And
still
it's like you're
stuck in this like 70s, 80s unions for the working guy, like myth. And sometimes it does help, but it never compares to the help they give themselves at the top. Like when you find out what the guys at the top of the union are up to, it's always one of those things where you realize like they're just basically a bunch of guys that found a way to like legally criminalize controlling
Mhm.
like
See,
your job.
exactly. That's kind of like my whole thoughts about just a union in general. It's number one, if you honestly think that the higher ups actually care about you, think again. But I'm all for like if you know the quote loopholes to get around where you get a good wage and you're kind of in a position to where they're not telling you to do stuff or else you're jeopardized losing something, go for it.
I think a lot of people don't like too that in the modern age you see that the unions donate
Mhm.
money to different political causes and campaigns,
That's the
and
main thing too, yeah.
that can run into an issue too because people are like, hey, I'm giving you X amount of dollars of my wages every check for your union fees to be part of your club. I'm paying my dues, and
Mhm.
you're sinking that money into things that I don't agree with. Like, I get the complaints, but I think too when people are making like $27 an hour for a labor job and they get full benefits and things like that, it's hard for them to get upset about even that aspect of it because it's like, well, my vote still goes where my vote goes. So
Mhm.
it's like I see the issues on both sides. I just don't know. It's like anything else in this world. I don't know that you can regulate it into being ran by moral people. Like that's the whole
Yeah,
issue. It's
yeah,
like
exactly. That's
immoral
why
people seek power structures, and it's tough
Mhm.
because you never, no matter how good a politician or any
Mhm.
person in a position of power sounds, where it's up to us to decide if they get the job. Like
Yeah.
you always question it because we all know normies don't want power. We just want to be left alone. It's the key
Mhm.
difference.
Yeah, I just want, yeah, make a comfortable living, you know, get blessed with whatever payment I can and be comfortable, but not like become corrupt and stuff like that. That's what I want.
Yeah.
What were we talking? Oh, Miyazaki, that's right.
Oh
We
yeah, I
already,
forgot all about Miyazaki. What's Miyazaki up to?
I don't know. Apparently he has a new film coming out. It's called How Do You Live question mark, set to hit Japanese theater next week. So this, let's see, this article was July 7th. So it's already, has it already been a week? So it's out this week. Let's see, July 7th was like the beginning, the first Friday of the month. So yeah, I would assume it's already out.
Okay.
Surprisingly, we still don't know what to expect outside of how it features an original plot based off the 1937 story of the same name by author Yoshino Genzaburo. Okay. I mean, that doesn't really help us, niche gamer, about what the story is.
Well, yeah, if it's not a story common to the West, it's like that's nice. Tell us something
Yeah,
about it.
I'm reading this again. Like, I think I understand what they're writing it. Surprisingly, we don't know what to expect outside of how it features. Okay, it's an original plot, but then it says it's based off of an already established story. Well, I'd like to know at least what the 1937 story is, at least. Anyway, Miyazaki and Ghibli decided not to accompany the film's release with any sort of an campaign or publicity. Oh, that's why I didn't really hear about it. Instead, the creator's reputation has done most of the heavy lifting when it comes to marketing. How Do You Live is expected to be Miyazaki's quote swan song in his last film before he retires. For real this time.
Yeah,
I
I was
like
gonna say, how many times have we heard that? Good lord.
I love how the article like threw it in like for reals this time. We're for reals. All
They
right.
know. They know.
So Miyazaki has become a global phenomenon thanks, yeah, we know for his work at Studio Ghibli and his whimsically artistry in films like My Neighbor Totoro, Spirited Away, and Whispers of the Heart. That one I haven't heard of. What's Whispers of the Heart? Is that like a new
Was
one?
that? Yeah, I think that one was like a few years ago. Like it was maybe like very islandy looking and like flat colors. It was not the typical um Ghibli
Oh, okay.
one.
Okay, I've
I,
seen a little images of it. Okay. Well, that was
I
a
think it
rather
kind of felt flat, but it's whatever.
well, that was a short article.
That was the whole article. Wow.
I tell you, man, I picked the articles that catches my eye, but like I don't know what the juice is, so I'm taking it. But that's what I love.
Miyazaki is a person that exists. You're like,
Yeah,
oh,
good job there, Brandon, with that very enticing article. Oh well, if anyone's seen Miyazaki's How Do You Live, hope you guys enjoyed it. Looks interesting. It looks like there's a picture of a bird, and then there's like a picture. Like I found one with like a picture of a kid or something. Looks like your sketch artist. Looks like it's like your sketch artist book style sort of animation. So
I mean, I'll definitely check it out. I'm a Miyazaki mark, to the
yeah,
max.
it looks cool. I mean, it looks cool. I don't know if I'll go out of my like super go out of my way to it, but if the for some reason I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I'll check it out. Yeah, I never,
Yeah,
I didn't
if
mind.
I
I don't
actually have
mind
it down.
Miyazaki stuff.
Oh, I
Mhm.
love Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli. It's just like one of those things where I forget about them because they were way more relevant to me in like the late '90s and early
Yeah.
2000s, and I've kind of out of sight, out of mind now. I've seen most of the movies at this
Hmm.
point outside of stuff from like 2018 onward. If there even was anything, I'm not sure other than the one you were just mentioning. But
Yeah.
it's
What's your favorite
I love
Miyazaki?
Miyazaki.
Do you have a favorite Miyazaki film that you like?
I like I like Spirited Away probably the most, just because it featured the least like weird experimental computer effects. I didn't really like that
Mm.
stuff, and it was very minimal. It was basically just when the girl and the parents in the beginning are driving in, you see like the totem or whatever it was, kind of like a three dimensional view. So I could
Hmm.
kind of look Princess Inoki, I know everyone loves that. It's one of my top ones too. But
I like Princess. Yeah.
the 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 Black Plague stuff spreading though, like sometimes it looks too digital to me and it drives me nuts because I know those guys don't need it. I can tell they animated it and then
Mhm.
tried to do some weird effect where it's like I can tell you guys did the movements, but there's some overlay here that's just not working for me.
Yeah,
So
I actually remember reading a book, or it was like the artwork from Princess Mononoke, and they were just talking about like the steps they took to create
mhm.
that thing. And yeah, they definitely did 2D and then applied some 3D stuff over it, which I can look past it as long as you know, obvious in the end, if you're not doing what Hollywood's doing now to where they're relying on CGI for every fucking thing, then yeah, it's pretty like passable. Yeah, Princess
They're
was
still both amazing animated films though. Like I consider uh just about everything that's came from either Ghibli and or
Guy Next.
Miyazaki prior to like to the existence of Ghibli, like all that team of people
Hmm.
were those first few were really just red hot. Even if it's like the old Heidi cartoon series in Japan or stuff they did prior as younger people, like you can see the touch and you can see the style and the really good animation. It tell like you just realize like these people were so good at a young age that by time Ghibli got here, like they were just hitting these
Hmm.
I don't know, these crazy peaks that you don't see in a whole lot of animation outside of like Akira, a few Disney things, like
Yeah.
maybe some other 90s like OVAs here and there. But really it was there's a very limited field. Like sometimes I really want my own animation and I have to remind myself, like, dude, the stuff you aspire to is like such a limited amount of people are truly capable of it in this
Hmm.
world. Like it
Yeah.
sounds easy on paper, like just draw a bunch of pictures that all flow. It's like it's not that easy. If you're trying to show weight, slow motion, fabric movement, like there's so many little things, and that's when you start trying to do animation, you realize like, oh, how did those guys do it all hand style in the old days? Like
Hmm.
that's some talent to draw the same thing over and over, but just slightly different, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I liked Porco Russo too. That was a
Mm-hmm.
that one was a good one too. I like that one. What was it? Nalia of the West Wind? Is that like the one where like the world's like infested? Like
Oh
with
yeah,
like
that's another amazing one,
that's a
man.
good
And
one. Man, I like
Miyazaki did
I've
a
seen it
manga of it too. That's insane. If you ever
what
get
was that?
time, look up the Nausicaa manga sometime. It's
Mm.
amazing too. Miyazaki likes to try to do his own manga for a lot of his
Oh, that's
things he
cool.
works. And it's beautiful, man. It's crazy that he's like, I always dreamed of being a mangaka. Guess I'll just die being a stupid movie director. I'm like, Japanese are insane. They know mangakas are kind of like universally treated like shit if they don't create the actual IP. Like the creator gets all the credit, obviously, which is
Hmm.
fine. But like so many guys that are in way better positions in life over there, make way more money, are still like they have this like broken heart, sad artist look at mangaka, and they're always saying this. It cracks me up. They're always like, I dreamed, I wish I could have just been a mangaka and not done stupid movies and animation. And it's like, are you sure, dude? Because I'm pretty sure like if you were just an artist, like you would be getting dumped on constantly. So
Yeah. Eh, just goes to show the difference in the mentality of it. They really do appreciate the artwork. A lot of some could say in the old west, some people don't because they're catering to weirdos.
well, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like the Japanese do appreciate the artwork, but from like a business aspect, not the
No, I
customer.
know. I know what you're saying.
Like
Yeah.
like the bosses look at mangaka that don't create the IP as dudes that are always late, which you can kind of understand that frustration. I feel it with myself because my book is late right now. Like it's tough as an artist to meet deadlines. And if you ever want to get a reality check on things like that, you'll get a job someday in Japan in the entertainment part of manga and realize that like writers and creators they love them from a business side because the guys get their jobs done on time. But the actual ground level artists, they're just like, you motherfuckers are late again. So you get it. It's like I understand your frustration.
I
It's
get it. Get it.
Yeah. Well, in a world where you're gonna deliver weekly, whether the artist turns in fucking stick figures or not, and then you go, well, dude, I told you what the due date was. We went to print. Guess what? The fans hated the crap you turned in. You're fired. So that's what everything's predicated by, you know.
Mhm. Now, some viewers who may be new to the channel go, Joe, what are you talking about when you say, I'm late on my project? Well, that project, my friends, is Death, 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 a sci-fi fantasy graphic novel about the family unit, survival, and war. Can be found on Indiegogo and in the descriptions on both YouTube and Rumble. Look at this shit. We've got we got colored work, got big old faces, different tiers that you can pick. You can get that sweet black and white or a colored book like I did. I was originally going to get the manga version, but every time I see the colors, I'm like, I'm glad I switched over to the colored version. But as you can see here, we've got different features and perks that you can get. Unfortunately, shadow banned because Google and the other internet browsers, they hate indie people for some reason. And I don't mean like, in indie as in like Indian people. I'm talking, well, they might hate them. We're talking individuals.
They're taking our jobs.
They're taking their jobs. The difference.
Yeah, it's been a common problem with people funding IGG. Surprisingly, while Kickstarter gets a lot of like shit thrown at it for having a liberal, ultra liberal staff at one point, it's like, say what you want, but they aren't shadow banning anybody's stuff. You can find it in the searches perfectly fine. This is exclusive to IGG. Knowing this to people day one, sometimes it's not like it's a timing issue, or your campaign's been around for a while, so they're just pushing it out of the search, because there are like, they do have like criteria you have to meet just to come up in the search, so that not suggesting something that's like a bunk ass project that just nobody wants. But other than that, it doesn't exist. It should still show up, and it just doesn't. You can search on IGG for the book, will not come up. Direct link is the only way I can get it to show now, and I don't know if it's necessarily slowed down backing, but it certainly hasn't helped. The metrics are a lot different prior to this being an issue last year.
Yeah, it's definitely bullshit when it's like, which one's the lesser of the evils? When it's like, can't I just have like a good one that actually is based in like not gay, and just like would just let me promote what I'm trying to promote?
Hopefully someday we can have the website set up to just fund direct, like crowdfund through our own site. And how this stuff works. It just takes time to get through it all. But at some point get there, and that will completely cut the middleman out of this whole process. And then we won't be at the will of decisions that won't be explained. I had Indiegogo come to me probably like a month ago or so, and a real nasty email threatening to like refund everybody and just turn me into collections, like going real extreme with threats. And I was just like, because I missed the update by like 32 days rather than 30. Like, I'm still putting up information. You can look at my updates. They're almost monthly for
That's
campaigns existed. And I mean, I did what they wanted. I showed them, because they wanted proof of things. So I showed them like photos of all the files and heaps of all the printed paper and all the products that are currently finished. And it was just like, and I asked them multiple times in this, like, okay, well, while I've got your attention, because you guys refuse to answer emails, like, why can't I ever find my campaign? And I kept bringing it up, and they avoided it. Like, they just talked about whatever their problem was with me. So like, they've been nothing but trouble the last year. So we'll see what the future holds. We might slowly converge to other platforms here, or just try to get our own shit figured out so it's a non-issue.
Yeah,
but it
absolutely.
With them having them send like veiled threats over the most petty shit. when there's literally like unfulfilled campaigns for like 8, 9 years plus that have not had an update in forever, and they're just
Yeah,
sitting
those
there.
turds.
So it's
Like,
whatever.
yeah. What Joe was talking about is the King Toad website. Kabam!
Mm-hmm.
Right here, we've got the
Kablam.
King Toad Incorporated website. I helped design and put it up
Yes.
there. And as you can see, we've got Death, 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 upcoming campaigns of Death, 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 and the other one, Swarm. Keep an eye out for that one too. That's going to be coming in hot here.
Yep.
But as
Be
you can,
launching that bad boy here in about a week.
oh shit, there you guys go, coming in at a week. But yes, on the King Toad website, you've got your storefront where you can check out some cool King Toad merch. We've got stickers, we've got books, we've got comics, we've got cups that you can drink from, all featuring King Toad Incorporated.
Cups you can look at. No, no, you can drink
Cups
from
that
them
you
as
can only look at, because if you drink from it, you'll instantly be poisoned. But yeah, check out
manufactured in a part of the world that's not pronounceable.
But yeah, check out King Toad Incorporated, www.kingtoadinc.com, and then you guys can check out the website. And like Joe was saying too, the goal is definitely to, if we're, if it needs to happen, try to direct everyone through that website. But we do have one, so if you guys enjoy it, feel free to check it out.
Yeah, all kinds of fun stuff over there.
Indeed, indeed. Indeed, GoGo needs to stop shadow banning you. That was a nice little transition, I thought, but
Yeah. Well, it's tough because it's not just me. It's a lot of dudes. So, it doesn't. It's not like this exclusive thing where it's like, well, what are you doing wrong? It's like I've investigated. I've been through. I'm not doing anything wrong. So there's all these other people that aren't either. They're launching day one, and their stuff doesn't come up in a search day one. Like someone preset this shit to
it's
not work
crazy.
right. So you can tell, because otherwise that wouldn't happen. You'd see some kinds of terms of service issue, or there'd be an explanation, is my point. You don't get emails. Someone just tells you one day and you go to look into it yourself.
I'm wondering if and it's kind of like the big fear to even like to just applying to any job is that companies now are going to go and check out and try to find your social media to check out what you say and stuff like that too. But
they might. I mean, it's weird because honestly, like a guy like me, Shane, like our social medias are pretty milquetoast.
yeah,
I don't really get too wild or out there or overly opinionated on the socials, because it's either a pointless endeavor, or you just look like you're trying too hard to get attention over something that's like not worthwhile. Like I'm just not going to sink the energy into it. I'll get a little sparky, but usually my timeline is like stuff I find fun. I'm really not interested in being upset all the time. I just want to scroll Twitter, see pictures of Transformers and comics, and that's pretty much what I've done with my Twitter. Is I've muted and blocked and chopped it all down and made sure it's just things that fall in the realm of like
absolutely.
mostly.
Or you can be like me and be very smart about driving that knife in when you need to, and then run away.
Craig, you're a goddamn heathen.
I am a heathen. I go ham sometimes. No, but you're absolutely right. Yeah, it's just weird. It's just weird that this shadow banning bullshit for like specific people and all that stuff, and it's like, oh my gosh, we're just trying to share our artwork and like share our product. Like the fuck man. Oh, do I have that clip of Cartman? I don't think so. Dang it. That would have been a perfect time to throw up that clip. What do I have that can incorporate it? I don't know.
Oh, Captain Steve's a fucking horse.
Well, there was something. Some norm for you guys. But anyway, here's another topic for all you video game type peeps out there that I just noticed. when also from Niche Gamer, and this one's kind of interesting too, and this it can kind of tie into other topics as well, and that's apparently Xbox Game Pass Core is going to replace the Xbox Live. Now, I haven't heard about this, so I'm definitely interested in what this is. So Xbox Game Pass Core will replace Xbox Live Gold in September. Oh, that's coming up fairly quickly. All right,
Yeah.
so this is an actual current, like this article was made July 17th. So let's see. Over 20 years since the service started, Microsoft announced Xbox Game Pass Core will replace Xbox Live Gold this fall. Xbox Game Pass Core will replace Xbox Live Gold on September 14th. Oh my God. Okay, Niche Gamer, you literally just repeated what you just typed. Why did you need to state it again? I'm sorry. But I shouldn't complain because I know I probably repeat stuff too. So what do I know? Let's see. So it's going to be replacing the Xbox Live Gold on September 14th and will be priced at $9.99 a month or $60 for a year. Okay, so pretty much like what it is now. Xbox Game Pass Core will include online multiplayer access, a roster of 25 plus games on console, and exclusive discounts and deals. Now, is this okay? It's replacing the Live Gold, but and it's Microsoft, so they're going to try to squeeze money out of you. So I'm assuming you would still. They also want you to sign up for the Game Pass to get like a bunch of games. The new change up of services also notably brings with it the end of games with gold. Oh, that sucks. I like the games with gold because you get it for free.
Yeah.
Because
Sorry if you guys hear the sub pump going off in here. It's pouring rain, so my sub pump might start clicking off like every 5 minutes.
Uh-oh. Well, hopefully
Yeah.
it's working good. So I didn't hear anything, so I think you're good.
Cool.
Yeah. That kind of sucks because, like, when it comes with games with gold, obviously people love free shit. We all know that. But it also is kind of like it's for people who actually have a physical copy of the game, but can't play it on their Xbox One. And so with the game with gold, you're able, because you're just getting the digital version of the Xbox, of probably the Xbox 360 version and stuff. And if you already have the game, some games aren't backwards compatible with with Xbox One. And it's like, do you want to hook up your 360 again? I mean, you could, but I don't know. I am one of the people that is kind of getting tired with the push to have everything digital, pay for a subscription. But then when you make physical copies, they're getting censored and all that shit.
Well, it was going to come for video games eventually.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is no brainer, but like, I don't know, like something about the caveat when it came to Xbox games with gold, because I think the Xbox games, like the free games you got with gold, I thought like the games that they would always show would be like, hey, this is like free to get right now. I always thought they were better than Sony, and I'm probably more of a PlayStation person than Xbox, mostly because a lot of my old school games are PlayStation games as opposed to 360. So it's like, but I'm a hybrid guy. I try to go with what's up. B.A. Turner, sign up for Vigilante's Creed on IGG. Says, what's up, dudes? What up, man?
What is up, BA? Yeah, I just finished a rad piece of artwork for him recently. The one with the gargoyle reaching up and the cross.
Oh, dude,
and
that was sick.
Eyeballs. Yeah.
That was dope, man. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. It's a cool project. So
very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, check that out, guys, if anyone's interested.
Get on that mailing list.
Yeah, get on that mailing list. We're on YouTube and Rumble, by the way. People enjoying the show, feel free to smash the subscribe and punch the like, follow button, and ring that bell to get notified when we go live. I do game streaming. I do the Power Up podcast of this show and a new show where we talk about conspiracies and all that fun stuff called Redacted and Classified Knowledge I threw the K in there because then it'd officially say rack, because who doesn't like a good rack?
Exactly. I mean,
Exactly.
airtight logic. That's how I see that one.
What's up?
I said airtight logic. That is how.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I didn't hear the first part. Nice. But the new changes up of services also notably brings with the end of game. Okay, I've already read that. Okay. Microsoft's long-running deal of free monthly games for subscribers. Most recently, Microsoft ended games with gold for 360 games. Oh, I didn't know that. Really? So the next logical step is to roll their efforts all into the Game Pass titles. See, that's my problem. And it sucks because I think Microsoft Xbox has a really good game library with their Game Pass that I don't really feel Sony has a whole lot. But then again, I haven't really dived in deep with the Game Pass for PlayStation side of things. So I don't really know about that, but man, that fucking sucks.
Well, PlayStation 1 and 2 had a ton of fucking games, especially PlayStation 2. So I feel like that's one of those things where if a person's not gotten really deep into it, there's bound to be like some diamonds in the rough in there, like games just even no one's ever heard of hardly that are really cool, or like JRPGs that are kind of easily forgotten about if you haven't paid much attention to that era in a long time.
Yeah, I gotta look into again because I won't lie. I also look into pricing. If I want to do that, I want to see what's more bang for my buck, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But then for me also as well, like this is getting into the fact where it's like, why not just, you just ask yourself at times, well, like, why not just go PC? And PC is its own thing too, because sometimes you don't get console games till way later when it comes to PC. But with PC, you also have the modding community to where if there's some bullshit in a game, could be possible that a modder can undo that or what have you. And then you have emulation, which is its own thing too, to where with the like ROM hacking community and stuff like that. I mean, they'll uncensor that shit and they'll fix stuff, So you have like for me, it's like this whole mixture of stuff of just like, man, like where can I go to get the best of everything? Uncensored, presented the way the creators wanted it without politics and business getting in the way. That's how I look at it. That's why I say I'm like a hybrid guy, to where I just try to find the best version, I guess you could say.
Well, too, it's like if video games is your thing and your hobby, like as it is for a lot of people, it's like their core hobby. Yeah, it's you take whichever route makes it the most fun for you and gives you the most bang for your buck. So it's not a thing for me, but I get it just from other hobbies that I do like, where it's kind of the same issue. Like if you like the kind of toys I like, you've got to kind of pick an era and roll with it because they're so expensive. They're all old or they're collector items that like.
But that's the thing, is you can still physically get it. Like, especially when it comes to that stuff, video games are trying to go all digital, and that's my argument too about ROMs and fuck it, even with piracy and stuff like that. One, certain areas, because of their government, will censor shit and they have to pirate it if they even want to do it. And this goes with like anime and stuff too. But then you're getting politics, specifically like in voiceover of anime and even with video games now and comics and stuff, being fisted inside the asshole of your favorite, entertainment medium. And it's like, I just want to enjoy the shit without it obviously being a glaring thing of like, we're talking about this and this is the way you should think and feel. And if you don't like it, well, tough luck. And it's like, well, then I'm not going to be sad when you lose money. And if that comes from, the ROMing community, the modding community, or the piracy community, like, fuck you. Why, like, listen to your customer fan base. And that's like kind of what people argue about with Nintendo. It's like, hey, if you're going after people who are pirating your stuff or ROMing stuff or getting the ROMs and all that stuff, you know what the logical solution is that people will willingly pay money for is make everything fucking available because you have it, because you can look at all the eShops from all of your different consoles and people have bought it. But
Mhm.
some of their ports are shit compared to the other stuff, especially to ROMs, where sometimes the ROMs are better than the official port. It makes no fucking sense. So fucking stupid. Jordan says, "Hey, Greg. Hey, what's up? Hey, Alfarius. They're doing it to subs too." See, that's the thing. And that's where I start to get salty with where, but we're even seeing it too. And you might know, are you a One Piece person, Joe, or no?
I admire what it is and its
Oh,
success
okay.
and how long it's been around, but no, I'm not
Oh,
necessarily a
okay.
big.
Have you heard
But I do.
the have you heard the big, like, well, I guess, have you seen it, I guess, in your Twitter feed of the whole thing with One Piece where there was a recent announcement for like new episodes, and there's a character, I can't remember her name, whose father always wanted a son, but he got a daughter, but he
Okay.
forced the daughter to wear clothing as like male clothing and stuff, and referred to her as him and that stuff. And they're trying to spin it like she's transgender. And it's like, and the Oda, the original creator, said, no, she's a woman. And these weirdos are saying, like, are like going even against the creator's words of stuff like that. This is what I'm
Well,
talking about.
it's weird too because it's like, so you're trying to spin this abuse of this character on behalf of their father as a as a positive. It's like it's strange.
Yeah, that's what.
The liberals do. They're mentally ill.
Yeah. Here's a rundown on new detail. Going back to video games. Today, we're continuing our commitment to give players more choice and value by introducing the Xbox Game Pass Core. Really, what about my choice of like getting a game that's not censored?
You don't get a choice, you son of a bitch.
Apparently so.
Quote Microsoft.
I guess
Hey,
so.
listen here, you piece of shit. You don't get enough.
I guess that makes me the fag.
You see, you just stepped in it big time.
I
Now,
know.
now they're going to kick you off. They're going to put out a special notice to all the Best Buys that you're not allowed to buy Microsoft products anymore.
I guess so. Fuck. Game Pass
Banned
Core
from purchase.
banned, banished to the nether realms.
Yep.
So Game Pass Core will give players access to our advanced multiplayer network. Really? That's nice. A select collection of over 25 games. Whoa.
Whoa.
Whoa, 25 games over it.
I'm jizzing.
I know, right? Over 25 games, and it's like the list is 26. It's like just one extra. Dude, that'd be a great middle finger. Select collection of 25 games to play with friends around the world, and exclusive member deals, all for $9.99 per month. I am not endorsed by Microsoft because I'm just reading here. Unless they want to give me money. Or $60.
Yeah. Give Greg money and we'll stop complaining.
Yeah, we'll stop complaining. Alfarius says Yamoto and the Japanese have gotten in on the fight. The voice actress, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, the voice actress was trying to say that he's transgender, like the pronouns and shit like that. Said male on Twitter, and several Japanese accounts tagged Oda and pointed out lawsuits due to contract violations. Wait, are you serious? Like lawsuits actually coming in? Dude, I hope so. I really fucking hope so. So these idiots can just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Because the other thing, now that reminded me, Joe, another thing is like, I guess with Oda, he does like little character cards that like gives you information and stuff. And it specifically states that she's a female. And here they are trying to go male. It's like, see, this is why I laugh when union actors try to come in and try to convince right to work voice actors to agree on the union.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, well, no, because go fuck yourself. And two, for this exact reason, that if I was the director and I saw you pulling this shit, and I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? You know damn well, like, the creator says this is this. And if it's like, and it's like, well, then you care more about your politics than you care about the craft. You're gone. Goodbye. You're replaced.
They created a situation that they now want to complain about. It's like, you guys created this. This is your fault. You all participated in it. It's like, it's like if you hear anyone complaining about the vax situation in hindsight, that couldn't wait to throw you under the bus during the peak of it. It's like, well, I don't want to hear your complaining now. You caused this shit.
Alfarius says, no, they pointed out they could come due to contract violation, Oda being unhappy with handling of Crunchyroll / Funny. Still, that's amazing. That's what I was getting at, too. Like, these creators need to just start showing up and going, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I said it this. If you can, like, what is hard to simply carry over from here to here in a way that still tells the story of what I written and the creator and the characters I created.
Yep, they got to start threatening to take their IPs away from people and giving them to someone else. So I'll tell you, if there's one thing the Japanese don't mind doing when they know their products are high demand, is saying, sorry, you don't get to access this any longer. We're going to let these guys over here that don't have this problem take care of it for us.
Yep.
They're just about the bottom line, dude. They just culturally don't care about this shit. You can even look at like online man on the street interviews trying to ask people about politics over there. The young people just turned off instantly. Like anyone under the age of 35 is like disgusted at even the thought of trying to.
Oh man, I wish that disgustedness was over here.
Yeah,
I can be disgusted for so long.
It's an old people's game there, that's why everyone says like Japan's controlled by old people. It's like, yeah, and it's kept you guys in decent shape thus far outside of some of the banking issues, So outside of letting central banks in, they've made sure that the country was kept suitable for them as old folks. But you guys don't want to be
starting to notice the cultural vandalism and are starting to have more oversight on their apps. Problem is the language barrier and the fact that the company who licenses to the West. Yeah, and that's unfortunately where, like with AM Studios, Anime Matsuri Studios with Vic and stuff, they're definitely going to have a hard time when, and let's be real, like Crunchyroll, it's the number one powerhouse that is getting all the IP and stuff. But this is great because then if we can start seeing independent studios rising up, getting the IPs, because these people are like, well, you're not listening to what's the source of the material, so we're just going with something else. And language barrier is a problem, but that's obvious, like that's a no-brainer. But like, huge difference between, it's like, okay, here's a joke, and there's not really a joke that translates well in the US because it's kind of you would get it if it was over in Japan.
Yeah.
Huge difference between telling a joke, like inserting a joke that America could ever understand, to with straight up just going like, comment on this political issue. Huge difference with lines and stuff. The middleman creates a barrier, so mangaka rarely even ever hears of the issues unless they can read English, or the Japanese fans who can speak or read it get pissed. Well, I mean, I guess that's where, start trying to reach to the people and be like, this is like, you see what they're doing with this crap? Like, you're gonna, and it sucks because, you really shouldn't have to, but I don't know. At this point, it's like, keep shining the light on that sin until they start to get really uncomfortable with it, because it's like, it's like, dude, all you got to do is just stop it. And that's all people want.
Well, it's not going to stop until someone can explain to them in a way they understand that they've been handing their products over to activists, not companies that know what the goal and the purpose is. They've handed it over to a bunch of people that used to be voice actors in the industry and are now activists pretending to be voice actors.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
mean? Exactly. And they're trying to lie to you and say that activism is part of the job, and it's not.
Yeah.
That's the big problem. Very well put, Joe. Our launch collection of more than 25 titles from Xbox Studios, Bethesda, and our content partner will offer something for everyone to play on their Xbox Series XS and Xbox One console. Today, we're confirming the following titles for launch, with more to be announced in advance on September 14th. New titles will be added 2 to 3 times a year. So you got your list. Let's see if there's anything good or anything. Got your Fable anniversary. Ori, I don't think I play. I like the first Ori game. That was pretty fun. I never played the Will of the Wisp, or maybe this is the first one. If it is, that's a good one. I've heard Psychonauts is good. I don't know about 2. I mean, you got your, not a really cool list. Whatever. So for current Xbox Live Gold members, on the 14th, Xbox Live Gold members will automatically become Game Pass Core members. No change in pricing, and have immediate access to the new library. Member deals and discounts will also be part of the Game Corp or Pass Core. Games with Gold will come to an end September 1st. Players can continue to access any Xbox One games through the previously redeemed through Games with Gold if they remain a game. Okay, yeah, okay. So as long as you're a member, you'll still keep your old stuff, it sounds like. Regardless of subscription status, any Xbox 360 titles redeemed via Games with Gold in the past will be kept in a player's library. Well, that's nice at least. I just think it's garbage.
Yeah.
Hell, I wouldn't even care if like you remade old games at a more reasonable price. I wouldn't care so much, because then it would be like you're gonna have your hardcore people who want the OG, and then some people are like, yeah, just give me a remake version of it that's at a cheaper price. Now, granted, you probably have some licensing issues, but
Dude, my kid plays, just like Minecraft and kid games on the Switch. And when I pick it up, all I'm playing is, like Super Mario World and All Stars over on in their little shop. And it only really has about 20, 30 games max for each of the old systems that you can play through their subscription system. But they're smart because it's like some of the best ones that a person would actually want to play, even though it's a limited library.
Mm-hmm. Greg,
it's just funny how it serves purposes on both sides. But yeah, it sounds like at least Xbox and PlayStation people get a big variety, because I know through Nintendo, like if I even want to play old N64 games, it's a whole separate subscription fee.
Yeah, Mm-hmm. But that's the thing. They're going to be milking it to make it a subscription. It's it's that specifically. They're going to make it a subscription base. They're not going to, do XP anymore. Yeah, and like I said, it just depends on what you enjoy and like which console you like. It's like, well, if I want what the creators intended to, if we're talking about new games and they're presenting a new game to us, like I want the one that's the least censored and faithfully or really well translated, because I want to know what they were wanting to share with people. Greg, when did again Fukunaga step down? All the shit seems to be started off after he became less involved, since he is a Christian and co-founder Ecolight with Rick Santorium. Oh, geez. I mean, let's see. Definitely a couple years ago. It hasn't been that long. Maybe like 3 years ago. Oh, I was close. 4. He left in 2019. Up until 2019.
I didn't know Steam censored games. I thought that was kind of like the gamer hub for like different types of
if you
just a broad range of gaming rather than just one company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like if you straight up go like into a game that you download it and go into like the forum section of those games, you'll see people posting up how to mod stuff.
Oh, okay.
to do stuff. Yeah, and there's like a website dedicated to like mods to apply to Steam based games. But that's
I
what
don't
I'm
know a
talking
whole lot
about.
about Steam. I looked at it once to research like 8-bit and 16-bit style games that like independent creators were doing, like the stuff that was successful that was literally all made by like one guy while
Yep.
he just sat around his house for a few years. Some of it was so impressive and stuff, but
Oh yeah,
yeah, I'd never heard of Steam prior. You know, it was completely new to me because I don't keep up well enough on that stuff.
yeah, your Steam's definitely starting to grow into, because that's what I learn and hear from like my roommate who keeps up with like Steam and that sort of stuff really well, more so than me, is that a lot of games from consoles don't cross over to the PC platform for like a good couple years, sort of thing. Like they're that far
Yeah.
behind, but yet your PC is super, like you can max out, you can make your PC easily better than the console, but obviously the consoles are there for the people that just want the plug and play. I don't want to have to go figure out to update my specs and stuff like that.
I mean, I honestly hate playing games on a computer, even though I kind of grew up with that stuff because it was hitting a little pop boom in the like mid 90s and late 90s. You know, like all the talk was X-Wing Rogue Squadron
Yeah.
and Wolfenstein. You know, like there wasn't
Well,
a whole lot of talk until 64 hit the scene, and then there was finally another little boom period. But
well, now a lot of games nowadays are controller compatible, so it's not like you don't have to play, like if you're worried, if you're talking like with like keyboard and mouse sort of thing, like a lot of it has it to where you can just plug in your controller. Hell, you can even connect it to your Bluetooth, and then
well, that
and
sounds
then
pretty less than like it's not a dramatic difference than having a
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not a dramatic difference, and you're in control of upgrading, like pushing if you want your game to the max, or just like, yeah, I just want it to run good enough, and not have it to where my PC sounds like an airplane jet, like just
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I was cracking up. This dude did a video. Obviously, he knew this wasn't necessary, but of his like, it was either a PS3 or PS4, like that had been used and abused on its last leg, and he literally had the top off and an ice pack right on top
Oh
of the
gosh.
system while it was running, like it was someone that hit their head. You know, it was
Oh man,
me up.
it doesn't sound like mine, but I still have the OG white PS4. It's called people call it the Glacier one, and that was, you got that way back when Destiny first came out. It was a Destiny bundle. I picked that one up. I still have that one. Still pretty well, doing pretty well, but I still want my PS5 just cuz I have too much PS4 disc games that I'd rather just use that. Faria says specifically Japanese games. Oh, talking about the censorship. Yet sex with Hitler is acceptable and okay. Yep. The
Hey,
activists at Steam hate that
what's wrong
Japanese
with
games
sex with
have
Hitler?
lolly and attractive characters, regardless of adult content, so they just deny them on masses. The attractive character stuff is, yeah, it's like, dude, come on, sex is a selling point. We all know this. Money, sex, and power. It's in every fucking sort of like advertisement that you see. It's just a selling point. Lolly,
Well, it doesn't even got to be sex. It's the fact that they won't let us just have beauty. It don't
yeah,
matter if it's
exactly.
male, female, who it's for. Everything has to be androgynous and ugly and unidentifiable. Just
Exactly.
let us have beauty. You know, I mean, when I draw females in my comics, it has nothing to do with perv thoughts in my head, but I want them to look pretty. They're supposed to be pretty women and look a certain way. So,
Yeah.
like, just stop sucking the beauty out of the work. It doesn't mean we can't still have pretty things just because people are ugly.
The lolly thing, that's
It's,
that's
that's
that's towing the line.
that
Like,
makes everyone a little squeamish. I think you know
I think so. It's like, ugh. I mean, that's a rabbit hole. I don't really want to go down. That might be a good talking point at some point because I know that'll piss people off.
dude
But man,
it gets some people steamed, and it's like, is this
oh dude,
really like something you want to like a hill you want to die on? Like, how about you
my
just be quiet so you don't look ridiculous?
my whole thing of that is like, dude, you're towing a dangerous line when it comes to kids and the concept of
Yeah.
of kids. Like I'll just put it at that. You're towing a very dangerous line. I only switched to Steam due to console censorship and modding censored things back. And yep, that's what I'm talking about. That's why I don't feel sorry for when people get ROMs and shit like that. One, I appreciate the modding community. Two, I can actually experience what the creators wanted, you know. And three,
Yeah.
sometimes people learn through ROMs and modding community games that never made it over to the US that probably would have done really well, but for whatever reason they didn't make it over. Lizzo, Monaco Real, and Mulvaney are the real women's. Oh gosh.
They're the real women's.
Lolly just means young character. Lolicon is the gross stuff. I know what lolly is. I'm just saying, like, you're towing a dangerous line. Again, that's all I'm gonna say. Like, it depends.
It does. Here's the catch: the details don't matter because the optics is what registers. So it's kind of like when people try to argue, like, well, you're using wrong terminology. Words don't mean that. Like when someone's like, you're transphobic, when it's like, I'm not scared of them, but I'm not going to let them around kids either. It's like it's not that I'm. We have to understand how something is in the moment and not what it always technically is. It's like, yeah, I know what something technically is. You know what something technically is, but that's not how everyone else is seeing it, unfortunately. And it's going to fall on deaf ears. So you got to find, you just got to, if it's something truly defendable, you find creative ways showing the falsehoods of things, where with the word lolly, you're already on the wrong foot.
Yeah,
just with a word with people's eyes.
Actually a body type. Says Chaos Smash short and petite. Okay, I get that, but then for me it's like, well, then why is it Zoom super young? It's like, there's short and petite women that like are actually consenting adults, sort of thing. But again, I'm not.
We do, but here's the catch: it's about the what the norm and what the exclusion to the norm is. And in the real world, most adult women you can tell are adult women. It's not like it's a common problem where you see women and you can't identify if they're adults. Now there's the young adult line, sure, where it can be tough, where people can go, this girl's probably in college, but I can't tell if it's like I got in early at 17 or if I'm already 22. Like there are those chicks that float between that. So you do got to be careful as a male not to make stupid decisions. But at the same time, like that's just.
But that's also some.
Just how it is.
Yeah, and that's something with just anime or in general is it's like kind of what I was talking. Like I mentioned before in the past of when it comes to like SJWs infesting anime. Anime is an umbrella term, and underneath that umbrella are very, very many different extremes. Some of them disgusting, some of them not, but it's all under that anime umbrella. And these people are trying to lie to you and say it was always about this extreme area. And it's like, no, it wasn't. It was actually this. And
that is a problem with anime that does get frustrating, and that's coming from a guy that likes anime and likes manga and defends it to an extreme degree at times and gets really frustrated when people act like this one clip they saw online as representative of all of something that there's literally an eternity amount of. None of us will live long enough to even watch and read all the manga and all the anime that's ever existed, because it's in such overwhelming numbers. You look at the guys that were like rich creators in Japan of real popular manga or got money in some way, whether it was inherited or whatever, and they will make these manga libraries. And when these guys pass, they'll usually have something in their will where they'll donate it to like one of the colleges or one of the art schools to be used in their libraries. And these guys will literally have 5 homes they've bought, filled ceiling to floor with manga. 3 warehouses they've bought, filled ceiling the floor with manga, because they said, I'm going to keep up on every single thing. I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to buy it and make sure it's somewhere where it's safe, so it's preserved for the future. And when you start to see that scale, you start to realize those were creators in like the late 70s. and they passed in the mid 2000s, and that's still how much they left behind just from their era of adulthood where they could afford to buy that much stuff. And to think there was already 30 years of it prior, and there's already like 20 years more after those times. It is insulting and it is frustrating, and I get people's irritation with things not being defined right, but at the same time have to roll with the punches and show them the appropriate stuff so that they do get it. If I want someone to check out manga, I don't give them something intended for an 8-year-old schoolgirl over there. It's not going to start on the right foot. It's going to make all manga seem silly. I'll give them, Berserk or Dragon Ball Z or something sort of relatable that they sort of recognize but still has high quality format. Same for anime. I'm not going to hand somebody an anime to watch that I know for fact is complete trash and act like it's representative of the industry as a whole. And it's
exactly. Chaos Smash says there's actually an MC and my senpai is annoying. Yeah, I've heard of her. This is a lolly, but it's a 23-year-old office workers. But they purposely super sexualize her to know that she's an adult and stuff. It's when you get to the ones where it's like, well, she's over 1,000 years old, but it's a kid shape. That's the one where it's like, oof. But that's what I'm talking about in general, is that a lot of animes do hypersexualize the females. And, sometimes they're on that borderline of being an adult and sometimes not. And you're just like, ugh. And
her fictional age doesn't matter to how she looks or he. That's the catch. People can say, oh, that's actually 130-year-old demon spirit. It just looks like a little child. It's like, sorry, that doesn't work for people because all they see is a little child in a tiny dress being weird. Like that's what they're going to get first is the negative, not the normal stuff. So it's like I went on one show with a fella from where was it? He was Japanese, but he lived in like Indonesia or somewhere for work. And he had the segment he liked to do on his show called hentai or manga, and he would show you a panel from a comic, and you had to tell him whether this was from a normal manga or a hentai manga. And his whole point was that there was a lot of hentai that is actually like high art and it's fine art, and they insinuate things without being completely perverted and disgusting. You're not getting a tentacle-dicked rape demon octopus monster that climbed out of a well. What you get is like all kinds of crazy stuff with like cool structures and cool designs where like, yeah, I guess you could interpret it as people saying like represents private parts and stuff. But that interaction's not really there that much. It really just appears like amazing architecture, art, and amazing characters and designs. So, I mean, he got me. I think I only got one correct. And the catch was he picked almost complete all hentai. So there's only one manga in there. I got the one manga right. All the rest, I guessed. I think I got like maybe 2 hentais correct. Like guessed it was a hentai. But it's tough because even in subgenres in manga and anime and Japanese entertainment, there's subgenres within the subgenres within the subgenres. It's a lot like metal music, where metal is an umbrellable term for literally like 15,000 different types of rock and metal music. And it can depend on what part of the planet you're on, where a band is from, what a musician was raised on, and you get so many subgenres after a while that you just start shaking your head and going, it's all just metal. And I think that's kind of what happens with this stuff too, is like, you see me now, it's exhausting trying to explain all the time the differences. So like, I just want to say I relate to people's frustrations about things. I'm not trying to come down on anyone because I know that like we all have something we enjoy get misinterpreted and presented in a shitty way. That is not always what it is as a whole.
The whole LGBTQ phobic thing was specifically created to gaslight the public and shut down events. I've said this before too. There's a huge difference between activists that use that and then just people that are like I'm gay or I'm bi or I'm whatever, and I just want to live my life. Totally different things. Now, morally, obviously, I have thoughts about it, but like, yeah, again, that's coming into and like trying to say that is part of the job of
Yeah.
the anime and stuff. And it's like it wasn't. It was a niche of a niche of a niche of a niche, and you're trying to say that was the heart and soul of it. That's my problem. Asians, specifically women, are highly neotenous. Retention of juvenile traits into adulthood, says Alfarius. To me, I got nothing. Chaos says to me, I got nothing against lollies, but when all of the freaks keep calling people who like lolly pedos, they make it worse for real life victims. I made a GIF of all the fan service in anime from 78 to 2022 to push back against the gaslighting that anime never used to have nudity. Use the Lone Ranger song too, says Alfarius.
Oh, yeah. For someone to say anime never had nudity is utterly absurd. It's had nudity and stuff and fan service from day one. Even some of the earliest of anime is so shockingly graphic at times, even if it's like mostly still images and shit like that. Like if the animation's crude, that like, I mean, there was old school anime from the 70s that was getting banned before it even arrived to countries for viewing. So yeah, to act like anime hasn't hit every terrible note at some point. If someone says that, they truly just don't know what they're talking about. Like they've never actually watched it. They're just trying to sound confident, repeating what they heard someone else say. You know what I mean? When they don't really have any clue about anime, because it's I would say anime has more out there wild shit in it than probably any other form of entertainment short of like literal pornography. I'm not saying anime porn. I'm just saying like they've covered every crazy base you can think of in anime. So
oh yeah, absolutely. Chaos, there are real short people in real life. Yeah, absolutely. Never watch Boku no Pico, never will. I don't know what that is.
I don't know if I want to know.
I don't know if I don't want to know. Yo, Japan is killing it with their metal scenes. Hanabe, Love Bites, Unlucky, Morpheus, Bandmade, Passcode, Dexcore, and Hades are my favorite. Social parroting, parrot here, parrot say. Yeah, but it's definitely worse in the Western part of things because actual freaks and stuff like that hide behind that and then run into this area or this field or the source of entertainment, and they use that as a shield to excuse their disgustedness, which is like, dude, I don't care what you do in the bedroom. Hell, I don't even care what you do in like a club if you go to the club, but you're trying to say that all this debauchery is part of your life and you should have the right to showcase that in public and in front of kids and stuff. That's no. No. Yeah. Sorry.
Even in Japan, people don't realize how old school and conservative they are in the sense of like there's still a bunch of shit you can't have on TV before 11 p.m. Even back in 95, 96, Evangelion got pushed up a time slot every week from episode 1 till like halfway into the season till it was coming on at like 11:30 at night over there, and they finally stopped because they didn't even, and we all know that like that show is like it's visually kind of interesting and wild, but it's not as derogatory as a lot of other OVA era stuff. And you go, well, if this stuff doesn't fly in regular society and they keep pushing a show even like that up the time slot till it's coming on so late, you almost have to be an unemployed Japanese guy to catch episodes and the ratings still stayed up. It told you not only how good it was, but also that like they still have moral basis for what they let happen and where they let it happen. And that's the advantage they have. Is even one of my pals that lives over there I talked to said like you have to think about it like this, is like they look at sporting events, they look at live shows, they look at anime, manga, is if that's what you do or if that's your thing, that's your outlet to kind of like let all your weird out. You get it out there and you leave it there, and you don't drag it into your real life. It's almost like they treat it like it's this weird therapy thing for like, look, some of us are friggin' weirdos. We acknowledge it, but we don't break the law, and we try to keep it in here. Just because we draw crazy demon monsters ripping people in half doesn't mean we want to do that. It's just something we're applying here. So that's, and even like live events. That's why people say, well, Japanese people don't cause a fuss or make a scene. Why are they getting so noisy at like a wrestling show? It's like, 'cause that's considered the appropriate place to act this way. If you're gonna act wild and scream and yell, just do it at a wrestling show. Don't do it in the train. Don't do it at home or at work. Keep it in style. And at a baseball game, go bananas, sure. So it's, it's just about balance. And I think that's why you can have a country that's that conservative, that they will be super picky about when and where and how you can use certain things, but then also have like anime and manga you can go into a store and buy that's like topics we wouldn't go near ever, especially on a live show or something. Just not happen. It's, no one wants to hear about it. It's buzzkill shit. So
and then they'll try to and one of the things you'll hear them say is like, well, they're just fictional people, they're made up. It's like, yeah, that's true, but what are you like fantasizing about per se with that stuff, sort of thing. Like that's where it's a slippery slope.
It's tough because there's clearly people in this world that are relatively normies that like to produce maybe some strange or weird artwork or entertainment. But if you knew them in real life, you would know, like, this dude's harmless. He's a boy. It's like David Lynch, the director. His movies are insane nightmares. But he is the most Boy Scout, white picket fence, Labrador Retriever, red, white, and blue American you will ever see in Hollywood. The guy is such a he's like permanently in the 1950s, and that's why we love him, because produce these movies that'll like bother you 3 days after you watch them, but he's not crazy. He just has a weird way of kind of seeing beauty that's not looked at as being aggressive towards others, you could say.
Chaos says, I feel like anime characters are stronger than American comic characters. Yeah, but maybe you're just biased. I tend to agree.
In America, because so many people get their hands on characters, especially if you're talking DC and Marvel, the characters can get convoluted, so they go through phases of strengthness and weakness, and that's why we point out like creator eras for who worked on stuff, where in Japan most things are controlled by the guy that created them, unless he for some reason passed it on to others. And when they're finished, they're finished. So you're only left with the original guy's way of, and you're not getting it convoluted for year after year after year, where they're trying to write characters within 2023, but they're also trying to make you understand why this guy was the same age when people were using rotary phones. Like they've set up hoops to jump through that will never end in America, because it's about the character, not who created them. Where in Japan, it dies with the creator most of the time, with some exceptions.
Evangelion does do a lot of mind fucking. Indeed. Yep.
It does. It's special,
I need to ask you to hold down the fort, Joe. I'll be right back.
All right, brother.
Talk him up.
David something. David Lynch. Lynch, I believe. But unless you're just joking with me, Chaos Mash, because you love to say terrible things to find people like me and Greg about our gradual, constant hair loss. But Evangelion did do a lot of mind fucking. I'll give it that. Like, I can understand moving it in time slot, not realizing how aggressive a show it would have been, since it was kind of like the studio threw it together as a loss. It was basically a tax write-off, and then it became successful, which I'm sure they were happy about in the long run. But it's interesting because it was just a show that was never taken real serious, probably other than by the people that made it, and was still extremely successful no matter how many obstacles were put in its way. and it was harder and harder to access and all that stuff. It's pretty awesome. Oh. I'm all blank right now, but I'll try to think of something here. It's still storming pretty bad here. It's back and forth. I'm actually surprised my signal's held this long. I really thought it would have cut out like 10 or 15 times by now because it just does that so bad here. But they recently neutered and killed the Punisher in the worst way possible. Probably bring him back as an Antifa thug. The Punisher is all about social justice, brush. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, they can't even embrace a character that's got a solid past and present and future, if treated right. Popular with the fans, great costume design. I'm not necessarily a huge Punisher fan. Once again, it goes in eras. Like, I liked Punisher Warbook stuff when Jim Lee was working on it, which it was some of his earliest work, but you know, it was written well, stuff like that as well. But and Mike Barron always did really good work on Punisher, you know, classic writer. And yeah, it is sad to see what they've done to Punisher.
Ooh, Punisher. What about Punisher?
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Chaos Smash. I was just reading this comment.
Oh, what's his name? How do you spell David something? What, Lynch? Lynch?
Mm.
They recently neutered and killed the Punisher in the worst way possible. Probably bring him back as an Antifa thug. Oh yeah, they did. I got into it like, oh, who's that weirdo that always dyes his beard? I can't remember his name. He tried to get me good because I like, what did I say?
A weirdo that dyes his beard could be so many liberals.
Yeah. He always like calls Melanie Mack like a bigot and stuff like that. It's his go-to argument every time. He'll do that. He'll start off with the labels. Like every video I see him try to bring up like comments and like counterpoints, it always starts off with labels or as a gay man. And I'm just like, well, like we know, well, you tie your beard, first of all. It was like something like that. Like I thought he commented on Chrissy Mayer or like Melanie Mack. For sure, like commented on Melanie Mack, Chrissy Mayer, like in the same thread. So I made
gay man. I have to drink a lot to live my lifestyle.
I made fun of his like his beard dying because I'm just like, dude, you look like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And like he's like, oh, get new material, and then oh, that's right. I commented on one area, and I'm like, and I always point out like and made fun of his beard. And he says gets new material. Then he makes a comment later on like a tweet from Melanie's. And so I just quote him back by saying get new material. And I think I called him like, what did I say? I called him like a booty pirate or something like that. I insulted him. And then he like tried to get me back by like showing the John Bernal, who played the Punisher, like holding a trans flag, like trying to like somehow get me upset about it. And I'm just like
that's not gonna work, guy.
Yeah, that doesn't work. I quoted, I think I responded with the Bane gift of like, and this gives you power over me, like sort of thing. And it was so retardo.
Oh, here's the catch. Find me.
My whole point is that they did fuck up the Punisher. That's my point.
If they can go find me a picture of the Punisher holding a trans flag in, you know, in the issue from 1980, I don't know. Let's say from 1990. Find me a Punisher issue from 1990 where he's got a trans flag, and I'll hear you out. I mean, any point in his past where he's ever been a character associated with such things. Like, that's what they don't understand. It's like, that doesn't work on me, guy. Because A, it's not the comic book. B, it's just some actor, like I give a shit. And C, I know you don't know what you're talking about. You know, it's like it's when people try to argue with you about something that you know extremely well, and they just don't realize what retards they look like.
I think he's an Eric July detractor. But yeah, I was like, well, John Burnell, like, not even really my favorite live action Punisher. I still I like Thomas Jane way more, but I also like Dolph Lundgren's version as well, because he was that version of like he's been doing it forever and he's just tired and like this is what I do, like, and I'm just on sheer willpower just murking people. Like I'm
I-
like,
Yeah, I don't think anyone's quite got it right. They've
yeah,
came
I'm
close.
also that
But
way
they
too.
went a bit closer. So it's tough for me because like I'm pretty critical of most comic book movies, even if I like some of them.
Hmm.
Um, like I love Tim Burton's Batman, despite the fact that I don't like that much Tim Burton stuff.
Yeah.
And he just hit certain notes that were great, even if other things in the movies weren't great. I
Hmm.
can look past like he did Gotham in a Batmobile so well that I can look past any bad, and
Hmm.
that's kind of the catch with some of that stuff.
I'm
Can't
sorry to hear that, Chaos.
There's
You'll
not
get through it,
enough
buddy.
good Punisher to outweigh the bad yet. Because no one's really
Yeah.
got close enough
No,
yet on a
I
scale.
found like each live action Punisher actor like is a different time in the Punisher's life. Like Thomas
Yeah,
Jane was the origin one. Dolph Lundgren's the one where he's been doing it for a long time.
old
Um,
man Punisher. Yeah,
Old man Punisher. Um, ah, he actually, the guy that just passed away in Punisher Warzone, I forget his name. He was like Frank Castle actually stepping out of the comics, like, because to me, he looked like definitely like the Punisher Maximum. And then John
yeah.
Burnell's like your young Punisher who's like, that grenade ready to explode. Like,
Yeah.
has anyone truly encapsulated all of that into one solid character? No. That's
It's basically Rambo if he went full time Rambo. So
exactly.
yeah, we're gonna get little different spats of it on the big screen and different
Hmm.
presentations.
I think I can bring a good Punisher. I'm wearing a
All right.
Punisher shirt too, conveniently enough. His logo is permanently changed because cops and military like to use it. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. No, I've
that's
seen enough of
how
the.
petty they are at Marvel Comics.
All right. Well, here's something else that I thought that was I definitely want to hear from, and this has to do with that god awful TMNT movie that's coming out, Mutant Mayhem.
I haven't even bothered looking at it because
No, it's garbage, but I wanted to read this Bounding into Comics article, which get ready for the misspelling because I always point out like what misspellings are gonna pop up. But supposedly Seth Rogen's TMNT Mutant Mayhem is a movie that talks about teenagers who experience feelings of isolation, loneliness, and awkwardness. Now, let's start right there. I will say right off the bat, I am not the biggest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan per se. I've read some of the comics. In fact, I'd love to get into the comics, but I did enjoy the cartoon. Did enjoy the live action. Am I a diehard Turtles fan? I would probably declare not, but I do enjoy some good Turtles. When you think of Turtles, do you think about teenagers who experiences feelings of isolation, loneliness, and awkwardness? No. Like no.
that's what real life teenagers experience. Like that's I think sucking the fun out of Ninja Turtles with that stuff is what the worry is, because you can have a little bit of it because yeah, they're supposed to be teenagers, but they weren't raised like normal teenagers. They were kind of,
That's
I
my
guess, in the
point.
sense that they were like into pop culture and stuff. That probably rubbed off because they were, even in the comics, they watched TV. They knew kind of
Exactly.
what was going on.
And like Splitter straight up trained them to kill Orokusaki. Oh, wait, no, wait a minute. Yeah, Orokusaki. Yeah, he's the Shredder. I was thinking of of Hamato, or is it Hamato Yoshi? Crap. I'm
I just know him as Shredder. I don't even remember that he had some other like real character name.
Orokusaki. It's Orokusaki. Orokusaki is Shredder, and Hamato Yoshi is Splinter's owner. who he watched, well, depending on the comics. But regardless, we saw some of them, like especially in the live action movie where, like the first one, like the actual good ones, not the Michael Bay ones. Like we saw them learning about that isolation and awkwardness and loneliness when Shredder kidnaps Splinter. With that, but they had each other though. They just didn't have their sensei with them.
Yeah.
Seth
They-
Rogen,
it's like
for
brothers without a father, basically.
exactly, and you know damn well, and let's be real here. You're being raised on a Splinter. Do you honestly think that they're gonna really suffer from isolation, loneliness, and awkwardness with them being your master and like you listening to them? Their master, aka father figure? No. But let's see what this article has to say.
But
And plus
here, real quick,
they made
things
April
that
O'Neil fat
turtles-
and black.
yeah, the things that turtles
Just
should
like
be
they're right
going through as teenagers is trying more to learn how to handle defeat and winning. Like those are more themes that are more fitting as almost a jock theme, because that's really where a lot of their stories derive from individually. As it is how did Raph take his getting his ass kicked the first time really really bad, or things like that. So
The report comes from Variety's Karen, oh boy, Idelson. Oh gosh.
uh-oh
Uh-oh.
Idol and Karen all in one name.
In an article mainly discussing the film's art style, looks like hot shit. I'll say that right now. Yeah, and that's another thing too. What is with this stupid garbage? If there's one thing I am not liking, it's people are now copying the Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse art style, where
Yeah.
they're being lazy and they're trying to hide it as an art style where it's like, well, we're not running it at exactly 30 frames per second and have some jittering and not
Yeah.
100% realistic mouth flaps. It's like, dude, that looks like shit.
It's all just paper dolls now. You know what I mean? It's all this
It's-
generic 2D, 3D mishmash,
I've
twitchy
seen
movement.
2.5D like
Yeah.
video games and stuff, and they're good. This is like 2.1, and you're barely squeezing in the 3D element.
Yeah.
Like Spider-Man, like the very first Spider-Man into the universe, that was fine. I didn't mind that at all. But like now they're just like, let's copy that, but what shortcuts can we take to make it quick, but still kind of look like that? And then you get
Yeah.
this garbage. All right. Anyway, what are we doing? Oh yeah, we're learning about why this is going to suck ass. So, however, buried in the article, Idelson details this emotionally authentic style of oh my gosh, of animation fell in line with the story they wanted to tell with TMNT, a coming of age origin story about teenagers who experience feelings of isolation, loneliness, and awkwardness as they try to find themselves. Plus, they're mutants and turtles. Well, there's your problem right there. You know what you should have said? You should have said, it's a coming of age origin story about turtles who are mutants, but also teenagers. See, what you need to do is you need to put the turtles and the mutant aspect as the main forefront, and then find yourself a good story that maybe covers a little bit of this, of them being teenagers. But again, based on what I've seen with this movie, they're talking teenagers as in like 12, 13. They even sound like it.
Okay. Well, that changes context a little bit. I didn't know that. But
you
still,
didn't? I just
makes
think
me
I think it's retarded, personally.
I thought turtles were almost always between the age of like 16 and
That's
18.
what I said. Dude, that is what I'm like when I think of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I'm thinking you're like fucking 18 years old or something like that. Okay? I'm sorry. Like you might have some depression and stuff like that, but you're She then went on to cite the film's writer and director Jeff Rao, who commented on why they chose to have real teenagers voice the turtles. Well, there's a mistake number 2. He said, being a teenager is inherently an emotional, confusing, lonely time in your life. You
Oh yeah,
have,
yeah.
you have 3 fucking brothers that are trained under your sensei that keep telling you, like, you are a team. Go.
Yeah.
You are a team.
You're literally on a brotherhood, a death assassin team, if you so desire. Like they're all that skilled.
Oh my gosh.
They're a tiny paramilitary that no one knows about and nobody can stop. So
2003 Shredder is a devil in terms of personality. You know, I never watched the 2000 animated. I heard it's actually pretty good.
it is. I would say like if you're going for the most fan service of the old school comics fans,
Mhm.
that's where you get the most. Like the '90s one's fun, but it's definitely a product of the
Yeah.
'90s, not so much the comics. It's like a
It was
cute,
more toy
fun,
driven merchandise.
yeah, which
selling.
is fine because it made me love it. You know, without that, I don't think I would have ever probably known about
No, yeah, absolutely.
way down the road or when I stumbled across it in indie comics or something. But yeah, if you want something that pays like real cool tribute to the old books, oh man, the 2000 series is where it's at. Like they even took there was a short story they did where um it was a tribute to Jack Kirby, the comic book artist and creator.
Yeah.
Probably the next most famous person next to Stan Lee in comic book history. And they just tweaked the name and had this whole world where Jack Kirby was drawing the world. Like I think it was Donatello was in this fantasy world with him, and they just got to pay tribute to all the artwork he'd done over the years. And they actually made that into like an episode at one point. I was so
Oh, that's
happy.
cool.
So this is such a like little off moment from the comics that you only know about if you're like really into that stuff. You know, the average person has never stumbled across this, and they just gave it to all these like kids that were still watching like some level of Saturday morning cartoons in the 2000s, even though it wasn't as big a deal. A whole new generation of kids got a taste of something being presented authentically and not having to warp the source material to suit the era. It was really special. It's fun.
2003 is the GOAT. They did deviate the story with fast forward and back to the sewer, but it was decent, had a good send off.
Yeah, none of it was insulting, to the fan base. They even had an episode where all the Turtles universes, probably like way before anyone else other than like DC's Final Crisis, doing like a multiverse deal, where like you got the comic book Turtles, the 2000s Turtles, and like another generation, I think the like '90s Turtles, like all together in one episode, like fighting the Shredder and the characters from the other universes, and it was sweet because they actually animated the old school Turtles like the comics, all with the red bands in black and white. Like they
Dude,
were
that's
there
awesome.
in the but yeah, it was so fun. Like you could tell that crew really cared about
That's
the Ninja
awesome.
Turtles.
I'll have to check it out for sure. Oh gosh, I see this related one. Seth Rogen's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem to gender swap Leatherhead and Wingnut. Ugh. Anyway, in a featurette promoting the film, Seth Rogen went on to elaborate why he wanted to put the focus on the teenagers, claiming their age was the most underexplored part of the franchise.
It's not underexplored. It's just not relevant to the degree he's trying to pretend it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, sure, no one's went deep into it. You know why? Because no one wants to, and no one wants to hear it, and it's not interesting. We
Let's
saw
see
when
if-
George Lucas tried that with Anakin, made for like a really boring character that just complained all the time.
let's see if I can do a good Seth Rogen impression. Let's see. All right.
Okay.
He said, okay, so Seth Rogen, he said, I grew up watching the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the teenage part was always the most underexplored part. I thought that it would be really interesting to explore them in that way, especially because from my understanding, every version of them has been performed by adults. I can't do his laugh, but I know he does like a retarded laugh or something.
Yeah. Laughing the whole time, not taking his product seriously.
There
trying
we
to
go.
say-
That was all from memory of what I think of Seth Rogen. Well, another problem is why'd you put Seth Rogen? I already complained, like, why'd they even have Seth Rogen in the Super Mario Brothers movie? Out of like, he didn't like, he was a terrible Donkey Kong. That voice did not fit Donkey Kong at all, even with it modulated. But that's
Yeah.
another.
Like, I can kind of not notice it now that I've seen the Mario movie like 10,000 times because my kids watch it like 4 times a day since it came out, like since it was available to buy on streaming, which was seriously like a week after it came out. They were like, hey, Google Play's got it. You want it? So, like, I can look past it, but there are times where I do hear him too much. And I'm just like, if they would have just tweaked just a few parts, you wouldn't really notice it too much. But there's just a few moments where it's Seth Rogen.
I actually don't even like the altered voice. That to me, that voice does not fit Donkey Kong, but that's another thing.
Should be something more imposing,
Yeah. So within 15 seconds of watching the movie, the audience is like, they're teenage boys, Rogen declared. Yeah, you want to know what I did when I first heard them? I said, "What the fuck is this? This isn't Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles." Like, why are they all like? Why hasn't their balls dropped yet? What the fuck? They're turtles. Oh my gosh.
I'll be right back.
Sounds good. Interestingly, Rogen went on to reveal that this version of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is very different from any other incarnation, specifically in regards how it treats Leonardo. Rogen describes Leonardo saying, the kid who sees himself as the coach of the team, even though no one else does. Dude, all of these points sound retarded. Like, I'm not interested in this. Like, we are not interested in this. People just want to see some turtles slicing and dicing, the Foot Clan or whatever villains are inside, throwing some Shredder, throwing some villains, obviously have some family disruption, between Leonardo and probably Raphael or, whoever. It's all we want to see. All we want to see. What's up, Mr. Anonymous? What is that? That is the dumpster fire that is Mutant Mayhem, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Hey, we're getting some tornado warnings here, so I'm gonna hop off just to go deal with kids and stuff, just in case. Probably not a big. But if I can get back in before show's over, I will. So no promises, but we'll see.
Sounds good, brother. Thanks for swinging by.
Yeah, and I'll hit you up later on, brother. If you don't hear back from me tonight.
Yeah,
and thank you everyone for checking out the book and for tuning into the show. Y'all know where to find me. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.
See you, dude. All right, so this description should not be a surprise. Let me actually pull it up. So this description should not be a surprise, as a variation of it was previously revealed on a number of toys connected to the film that were being sold on Japanese e-commerce website. Rakuten, Leonardo's biography reads, Leo's the leader. Well, he wants to be. He dreams. Oh, there's the misspelling. They did not capitalize the H. He dreams of leading his brothers to become an unstoppable crime-fighting team. So what if no one takes him seriously? Now, again, I'm not super up to date with the Turtles' like mission and goal in life. But for them to have this concept of being a crime-fighting team, I don't know, doesn't really line up. Maybe I'm probably wrong about that, because obviously how can you write a bunch of, continue the series and stuff like that? But I don't know. So what if no one takes him seriously? I mean, there's just never mind. Rogen's description of Leonardo also follows in the wake of a clip from the film depicting Master Splinter as an anti-human bigot. Dude, fuck you, Rogen. Fuck you. Eclipses, the four turtles recite an anti-human screed taught to them by Master. I think that's supposed to be Creed. Another misspelling, Eric. God, bounding into comics every fucking time. Does no one like proofread your articles? Screed. Humans are the demon scum of the earth. Avoid them. Don't say hi. They lust to murder that which is different from them. To interact with them is to die. Are you shitting me? Are you shitting me? Then why did you name them after the four Renaissance artists? Oh my gosh, that's so retarded. Leonardo then admits the screed, or creed, is prejudice, and proceeds to reveal it was taught to them by Splinter. And hey, I know that's objectively prejudice, but that's what Dad taught us. Well, I mean, I've already seen what they've done to Splinter. This is fucking stupid. This is stupid. Why is Raphael like the biggest one? The Turtles then share a number of pop culture references about different celebrities they think are cool, such as Tom Brady, Beyonce. Tom Brady, Beyonce, and Drake. Leonardo adds, look, we all think humans are cool, but we got a job. This is... Do they explain the origin stories of the name? Because all you're doing is just making everything up to date with SJW bullshit, but you're still like using Leonardo, Raphael, Michelangelo, and Leonardo. Please explain to me why you named them that if it wasn't after the Renaissance people. Because humans are the demons. What do you think? What do you make of this new report that Mutant Mayhem will be about experiencing feelings of isolation, loneliness, and awkwardness as they found themselves? Fucking stupid. It's retarded. I hope it fails. People are already pissed at it. The animation is garbage. Splinter isn't Splinter. He hates humans. Apparently, probably doesn't have honor. He has that stupid afro thing going on. April O'Neil is fat and unattractive. Black, because equality. It's garbage. It's going to be garbage, and I hope it burns. Chaos, and my depression just got higher. My rage just got more kindle thrown upon it. Oh my gosh, that is way too big. All right. Well, one other thing that caught my eye that I wanted to look at. That is a One Punch Man video game. New One Punch Man. It's called One Punch Man World. Well, he's voiced by a Chinaman. Wait. He's voiced by a Chinese actor, even though everything was based on Japan. Yeah, Rogen totally appreciates the... Oh my gosh. Why I want to know who's who's giving Rogan these opportunities to do this shit. Someone obviously threw him a bone because they were like, okay, look, the whole drug comedy is old, repetitive, annoying, stupid, and the same. Think of something better. He's like, well, I really like, comics and stuff. Wait, Splinter's actually voiced by Jackie Chan? Dude, Jackie, damn it. Why? Anyway, Regardless. All right. So that thing announces One Punch Man World. So Crunchyroll Games. Wait, they do games now? Crunchyroll Games? Since when did they have a gaming studio? I never knew that. You think he's become a CCP shill? Ugh, hope not. So Crunchyroll Games have announced One Punch Man World, a new game based on the popular anime manga franchise in collaboration with Perfect World, the most ambitious Crunchyroll Games title to date. I want to say it's the only Crunchyroll Games title to date because I can't think of any other ones. Crunchyroll has been regulated to that thing, that monstrosity. Okay. The most ambitious Crunchyroll Games title to date, One Punch Man World, is an immersive online action game that transports players into the universe of One Punch Man, says Terry Lee, general manager of Crunchyroll Games. Uh-oh. Oh, excuse me. I felt that sneeze coming on. Anyway. He added the game, developed by Perfect World, brings iconic characters and abilities to life with premier production value that we are excited to unleash on anime fans and gamers. One Punch Man World will be available on Windows PC, iOS, and Android as a free-to-play title. Pre-registrations are available now in select regions through their website. Here's the rundown of the game. So heroes are needed in One Punch Man World. A sinister wave of monster attacks has left Earth's cities and the Hero Association under duress. However, after 3 years of special training, Saitama has become so powerful that he can defeat opponents with a single punch. The thing is, Saitama just does the hero thing for fun, but when every enemy goes down in one punch, overwhelming power can be kind of boring. Now, in front of the laid-back, strongest heroes, a new enemy appears. Will he be able to show his full power today? So unlock and level up fan favorite heroes, okay, including Genos and more. Enter the Hero Association hub to meet friends, take on missions, team up for raids against destructive foes, dive into intricate combat and execute perfectly timed dodges, skill combos, and spectacular ultimates, including an all-new abilities for beloved characters. Fight your way through iconic moments of One Punch Man's first season. Discover expanded moments from the anime or experience scenarios from an all-new point of view. Explore Z City and participate in side activities and mini games while climbing your way to the top of the in-game ranks. All right, so they have a trailer here. Play that sucker. We will not subscribe to you. It's like 2 minutes. We're not going to watch the whole thing. Okay. I mean, does it have an actual story mode? Because when I watched this very, very slowly. Well, slowly. I don't know why I said that. I watched this like very quickly. Like a quick glance. And to me, I thought it was going to be like one of those Musou games. Like, you know, Dynasty Warriors, that sort of thing. Those hack and slash ones. I thought that's what this game was going to be. And it looked pretty cool. I thought it was going to be that. But if it's going to be this... Just another. Gotcha. Yeah. Well, that sucks. For some reason I was hoping it would be like Fist of the North Star, the Lost Paradise. I thought it was going to be like one of those games, which I was going to be like, dude, that's cool. Well, my hopes were shattered. Well, that sucks. Ugh. Let's see. I know there were some other topics that I was kind of interested. So I'll think before we wrap up the show here, I'll look for one more. So I did see there was some other stuff that I wanted to check out. Seeing stuff about, yeah, we all know the Barbie movie's not going to be good. Don't care about that. Sound of Freedom, obviously stirring up stuff, because apparently a lot of people don't like exposing, for some reason, get really butthurt when human trafficking is brought to the forefront and brought awareness. For some reason, people don't like that. Maybe it's because they're fucking scum. On the bright side, they dropped a new KOF 15 character trailer for you, so you're good. Oh yeah, that Walt Disney Snow White photos. Oh my gosh, that was awful. We'll end on that one. That was just hot garbage. Oh, what the heck is this? It's like get rid of this ad. There we go. All right. We'll wrap it up with this. I don't know if any of you guys saw the Snow White and the Seven Dwarf like pictures, but man, it looks awful. So the Walt Disney Company admits Snow White photos are real after initially claiming they were fake and not from our production. Oh no. Oh no, Disney. Man, you guys are just dropping the ball on everything because you're scum. The Walt Disney Company admitted that the leaked Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs photos are indeed from the Walt Disney Company production of the upcoming film starring Rachel Zegler and Gail Gott. Wait, why is Gail in there? What is she doing? Despite initially claiming they were fake. Also, I think they fixed Brave's browser, so that's good. Set photos were originally reported on by the Daily Mail on Friday and showed 7 individuals supposedly playing the film's dwarfs, despite none of them looking anything like the dwarfs from the original 1937 animated film. Oh my gosh, there you go. Like, I've seen this before, but it's been a long ass time since I've seen this. Aren't the dwarves like all brothers? Gail, why do you got to do me dirty? Why you got to do me dirty? Aren't they all brothers? I thought they were all brothers, but whatever. So why? Who is this guy in the back? So you got this guy, got race swap, race and gender swap, race swap. Okay, this guy just looks like a pirate. This guy looks a little touched. This guy looks like the only true dwarf. Oh my gosh. Alongside the dwarves. Wait, is it actually dwarfs or is it dwarves? Like DWARVES. Or is both acceptable? I don't know. Photos of doubles from the film star Rachel Zegler and Andrew Burnap were also captured in their costumes. Ziegler's Snow White looks more like Little Red Riding Hood than Snow White. This is very true. There it is right there. Oh, it's Yellow Flash. There you go. Good job, Yellow Flash. Following the leak, a Disney spokesman informed the Daily Beast, the photos are fake and not from our production. We are currently trying to have the Daily Mail issue a correction. However, the Daily Mail would update their story noting this article has been amended since initial publication to correctly identify the actress portraying Snow White as an extra who stood in for post-production photography. Hmm.
We're going to go to hell.
Yeah. So Disney confirmed that stand-ins were used. Oh, wait. Whoops. I'm like, why isn't this scrolling down? It's because I actually... Snow White identified the actress portraying Snow White as an extra who stood in for post-production photography. Disney confirmed that stand-ins were used for both Rachel and Andrew in these images. We are happy to clarify this point. That still doesn't excuse that the costumes look like hot garbage. Following the Daily Mail's clarification, a Disney spokesman then told The Independent the photos were indeed from the Snow White production. Oof. The spokesman said the images that ran in the Daily Mail are not official film photos. These show stand-ins for some talent and do not feature Rachel or Andrew Burnap. Again, it doesn't matter. This looks terrible. I think that's what everyone was making fun of, is that it looks awful. Who cares what actors and actresses are in the photo? If this is the look you're presenting, it looks awful. So these leaked set photos appear to confirm comments made by Rachel during the upcoming film. During the Walt Disney Company's D23 presentation for the film, Ziegler said the film would have a modern edge, and that is where the film will die when you say stupid crap like that. When asked to clarify, she told Variety, I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White. And then Gail interjected saying, she's not going to be saved by the prince. Then she's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. Okay, then it's not Snow White. Like, it's been said so many, you guys know, so many people have said what I'm thinking already. You guys know what it is. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can't be. Bullshit. Who the why can't you just write your own fucking story? Oh, wait, I know why. It's because if you did, you know it would fucking flop. And the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. Okay, it's been a long time since I've seen Snow White. Did she ever talk to her father in the original? Well, this disparaging in heaven. And so it's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves in. I hate this. I hate everything. I love the Lord, but I hate this. She also previously informed BuzzFeed that they would be changing Snow White's entire story. Then why are you calling it Snow White? Why? There's not much I can say about it besides the fact that Snow White has constantly been criticized, even though she's the original Disney princess and we love her so much. We love her so much that we just shitted on her character and just changed the whole fucking thing. That's how much we love her. But criticized for existing solely for a prince, existing solely to be rescued. That's like one of the main cliches of a fairy tale. I'm sorry, if there's anyone out there that is like wakes up one day and goes, "Holy shit, that one fairy tale, it needs to be modernized." Like, go play on some train tracks immediately. Because you're not benefiting anybody with that mentality and that idea. Like, if that's your main purpose for rewriting the story, like, you just completely taken out the concept of a fairy tale. And I think that our director, Mark Webb, and everyone who's working on this film has really taken her narrative and turned it into something that's a lot stronger. Bull fucking shit. This movie is not going to be better than the fucking animation. She continued, and I'm very, very excited to be able to bring that to life. YouTuber Ryan Kinnell roasted the Walt Disney Company for initially lying about the images. It is from your set. It is it is from filming that's being done right now. You have these actors that are not stand-ins, and these are the outfits that they are using. This is what they look like. These are the characters. This is real. These are real pictures, and they're getting totally and completely annihilated over it. Yep. He later added, I don't think the audience is going to come out and support this. I agree. I think that might be a major issue for you because people are mocking and laughing at this garbage right now. It looks ridiculous. It looks stupid, but it looks right up Disney's alley. Oh, it's right up their alley. So far up their black hole alley. God. Walt Disney.
Why do you disappoint me? Second by second, you waste my time.
I mean, I stopped caring about Walt Disney a long time ago, but an appropriate response. And what do you make? What do you make of the Walt Disney Company lying about their leaked images and then later admitting they're indeed from the film's production? Well, you saw on how people reacted, you saw on how people hated, and you tried to stop the wildfire of mockery that was taking place, and then you try to lie about it, and then you got caught lying. So all I can say is
that's your problem, fuckface.
That's what I think.
Huh. Go yourself.
Stopped caring about the Frozen movie. I never watched the movie. I mean, Frozen was fine. Then the second one came out, and I didn't care about seeing that one. All right, that's the end of the show. That's the last article we'll look into. Covered a lot of good topics, quite fun. We were on YouTube and Rumble. If you guys enjoy the show, feel free to like and subscribe. Smash the subscribe, punch the like, and ring the bell to get notified when I go on and do some things. That was a terrible segue. But yes, I do game streaming. I do the Power Up podcast. I do other shows. Always trying to book guests to get on the show. We're working on that. So hopefully some guests will be scheduled coming up here. Nice stream now. Excuse me. I'm going to go cry in the corner. I've already unleashed my salt for tonight. So I'm just going to dip. But yeah, we've been playing Final Fantasy IV, the complete collection. We're winding down on that game, and then we'll figure out what we want to play next. But yeah, thanks for all the support. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Can I get someone to appear on your stream? I mean, like, I'm down for suggestions, and I'll look into the person. Excuse me. Dan fan? Never heard of him. I mean, I'll definitely take a gander, see what's up. You know, always down to listen to suggestions from people. But yeah, I should have had like a glass of water next to me, but alas. Maybe you can get her and her boyfriend on a podcast. yeah, like I said, I'm always down to hear people's suggestions. I'll do my best to try to check them out, see if I have, feel that energy coming from them. See if see if I'm interested. So, but yeah, never know. Never know. All right, I'm dipping. So, thanks for all the support. God bless. See you guys later. Catch you on the flip side. And go with God, Castle. Go with God. See you guys later. Peace.